Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Kaitlyn, Warne Yoga. Today we're going to do a quick sequence, twisting flow to wring out the body, bring new blood into the organs, good for digestion. Hopefully you'll feel great afterwards. I recommend that you have at least one block for today's practice. And we'll start in a comfortable seat. So you can either sit cross-legged like I am or in Virasana, which is hero's pose, where you sit on your heels. And if you're more comfortable, you can always sit on top of your block. Or if you don't have a block, a pillow, what might be nice. Root through your sits bones, reach up through the crown of your head, draw your shoulders onto your back, and bring your palms to prayer at heart center. Bow your chin towards your chest. And for a moment here, just tap into your breath. Notice how it's feeling. Is your breath feeling fluid today? Are you having trouble with your inhales, troubles with your exhales? What's its texture? What's its temperature? Let's see if you can bring your inhales and your exhales to the same length. Breathing in and out through your nose. And then setting an intention for today's practice. Once you have your intention in mind, repeat it silently to yourself. And then gently blink your eyes open. But take your hands towards your knees, and then maybe you have a kitty friend who's doing yoga with you, like I do. You'll take your that's your left. You'll take your left hand to your right knee, roll your right shoulder back, take your right fingertips to the mat behind you, and just gentle, gentle twist. Root through your left sitting bone. You might look over your right shoulder. Continue to reach up through the crown of your head. And then inhale, come back to center, switch sides, right hand to the left knee. Roll the left shoulder back as you take your left tippy fingers to the mat behind you. Root through your right sits bone, especially as you reach up through the crown of your head. And then on your exhale, you can gently leverage yourself into the twist just a little bit more, but we're just starting, so be gentle with yourself. Inhale, come back through center, roll over your shins. And you're gonna press right back up into downward facing dog. And once you arrive here, do anything that feels good to wake your body up. Maybe pedaling out your feet. Maybe you shake your hips from side to side. If it feels nice to press into downward facing dog and land in stillness and just give yourself a little body scan, then go for it. Wherever you are, press all four corners of your hands into the mat, spread your fingers wide, and send your sits bones back and up to the wall behind you. Bend your knees, look forward, and on the end of your next exhale, come to the front of your mat. You can walk, step, hop, or jump. Inhale, halfway lift, take your hands to your shins, send your heart forward as your sits bones move back in space. Exhale, fold back down. Press all four corners of your feet into the mat, tuck your chin, tuck your chest, and slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, roll your shoulders back. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale your hands through prayer at heart center and down to your side. Press all four corners of your feet into the mat. So really root through your feet. Draw energy up through your arches and then pull your kneecaps up, engaging your quadriceps. Reach your fingertips to the sky on an inhale. You're going to interlace your hands, but keeping your index fingers so they're pointing up. Relax your shoulders onto your back. Inhale, find a lot of length. Exhale, begin to fold over towards the right. Pay special attention to keep your left hip forward and your right armpit forward. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, fold all the way over towards the left. This time, it's the left armpit and the right hip that move forward. Root through your feet. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, take a big step back with your right foot, plant your right knee on the mat, scissor your inner thighs together, inhale, reach up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Wrap your left hip back and down in space to square through your hips. Find a slight tuck of your tail, and then notice if your lower ribs have jutted out. Hug them in. Exhale your right hand underneath your right shoulder. You can stay as is, or you might tuck your right toes underneath you. Lift your right knee off of the mat and twist open towards the left. Do your best to keep your right hip lifted and pull your left hip crease back and down towards your right heel. You're going to hug your lower belly and find this twist from behind your navel and press through your right heel. And then plant your right hand, turn all 10 toes towards the left side of your mat. So you might have to draw that left foot down to the middle of your mat a little bit. This is side plank with a little bit of a kickstand. Stay here or swim the left foot to stack on top of the right. Press your feet, press your hand into the mat, lift your hips high, your gaze might go to the sky. Exhale your left hand down onto the mat, you're in plank. Press back up, downward facing dog. And come back to your breath. Bend your knees, look forward, and come to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, press your feet into the mat, hug your lower belly in, come all the way up to stand. Exhale your hands through prayer at heart center and down to your side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, big step back with your left foot. Exhale, your left knee down onto the mat. Again, hug your inner thighs together. Inhale, rise all the way up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Imagine so you can draw your mat together by pulling your right heel towards your left knee. This time, your right hip wraps back and down, and you're going to find containment through your core by knitting your lower ribs to your upper hip points. Reach through your fingertips, but allow your shoulders to collect on your back. Exhale your left hand underneath your left shoulder. Keep your right arm lifted, staying as is, or maybe tucking the left toes under, lifting your left knee off the mat. Continue to pull your right hip crease back, bending into your right knee, but keep your left hip lifted, finding this twist from behind your navel. Take the inseam of your left pant leg up towards the sky and press up for your left heel more. And then turn all 10 toes towards the right. So again, you might pull that right foot down towards the middle of your mat to use it as your kickstand, or you might swim it to stack on top of the left. Reach through your right fingertips, lift your hips nice and high. Can you send your tail towards your heels? Exhale your right hand to the mat and lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, and come to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Exhale your hands through prayer at heart center and down to your side. Bring your toes together. There's a little bit of space between your heels, and on your inhale, you'll sit down and reach up. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Send your weight into your heels, and then send your shin bones back in space so you can see your big toes. You're going to find a very slight tuck of your tail. If your booty's out like mine is, tuck the tail, send your tail down towards the mat. Alternatively, if you're kind of hunched over, you're going to send your booty back. So you want a nice long spine. Exhale your hands through prayer at heart center. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, twist towards the right. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Press your palms together, roll the right shoulder back. And then check it out. If your left knee is quite forward, pull your left hip back. Sit a little bit lower, reach through the crown of your head more. And then bear with me, do your best. Send your weight into your right foot. Come onto your left tippy toes. You're gonna hug your left knee to your left heel towards your bum. And then slowly, 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 slowly tap your left toes behind you. Yeah, keep bending into your right knee, pulling your right hip crease back. Press up and out of your twist, roll the right shoulder back, maybe look to the sky. And then you're gonna do the opposite. Again, send your weight into your right foot. You're gonna spring off of your left foot, whoop, bring your knees to touch, and then tap your left toes beside your right. Inhale, come back through center warrior. Ooh, not warrior, anything. Chair pose. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. Give yourself a shimmy shake. You got this. Take your toes together, a little bit of space between your heels. Inhale, sit down, rise up, Utkatasana, chair pose. So if you've got everything in your lower body, now spin your triceps forward by imagining you're holding this giant globe in between your hands. So your palms look like they're going to touch. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. If your lower ribs are jutting out, hug them in. Exhale your hands through prayer at heart center. Inhale, find a lot of length. Twist towards the left on your exhale. Hook your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Doing your best to stack everything. Palms, wrists, elbows, shoulders. Sit deeper, lift your heart higher. And then send your weight into your left foot. Come onto your right tippy toes. And then kick your right butt cheek with your right heel. You might look to the ground as you slowly tap your right toes behind you. This is Parvrita Parsvakonasana, or twisted revolved side angle pose. Roll left shoulder, stack on top of the right, your gaze may go to the sky. And then you're doing the opposite. You can look down again, woo! Spring off of your right toes, bring your knees to touch, and then plant your right foot beside your left. Inhale, come back up, chair pose. Exhale, dive forward over your legs, whoo, shake it out. Inhale, halfway lift, take your hands to your shins. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale to ripple forward, find plank. Exhale all the way down to the mat or through chaturanga, yogi's choice. I'm going to do it with my knees down today. Inhale into your back bend, either upward facing dog or cobra. I am taking cobra. And then exhale, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, come to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, roll back down. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Exhale your hands through prayer at heart center and down to your side. So you can stay exactly as you are. I'm facing you just so you can see me. You're gonna send your weight into your right foot, spread all four corners of your right foot onto the mat. Spread your toes, take your hands to your hips, and bring your left knee towards your chest. Keeping your left ankle flexed, you're going to bend into your right knee and cross your left ankle over top of your right thigh. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. And you're going to begin to sit back like you're in chair. Keep your heart lifted. There's a broadness in your collarbones and a lightness in your heart. You may stay here if this is where you're feeling good today, or you might hook your left elbow into the middle, woo! You might fall, that's okay too. Hook your left elbow to your left arch. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Roll the right shoulder back. And then breathe. Lots of balance, lots of focus. Notice if you're gripping at your right toes, let it go. Inhale, come back to center. And then shake it out. Whew. Switch sides. Send your weight into your left foot, press all four corners of your left foot into the mat and spread your toes. Lift up your right knee towards your chest. Keep your right foot flexed as you cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh and begin to sit back. Send your hands to prayer at heart center. This may be where you stay today. This is a super cool place to be. You can still, there's a lot of balance going on here. You're still stretching into the outside of your right hip, or you might begin to hook your right elbow into your right arch. Take your hands to prayer. Roll the left shoulder back. Just do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yoga can be fun. Inhale, come back to center, and then let it go. Whew. Come to stand at the front of your mat if you are not already. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Last little vinyasa. If you want, inhale, ripple forward to plank. Exhale through chaturanga. You might come all the way down onto the mat. Inhale into your back bend. And exhale, lift your hips back and up. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, and come all the way through to seated. All right. Extend your legs out in front of you. Take your hands just kind of behind you like you're at a beach and give yourself a little shake. And then find stillness. You're going to bend your knees quite generously. Bring your toes to touch and zip up toes to pelvis like you did in chair pose. Spin the flesh out from underneath you. Press your sit bones into the mat. Reach up through the crown of your head. Reach up through your fingertips. Exhale, fold forward. Your hands may come to your toes. They may rest alongside you, yogi's choice. If you have a strap, here's a nice place to use it. Roll your shoulders back, send your heart towards your toes. Keep length in your spine. Inhale, slowly come all the way back up. Keep your right foot as it is. Bend into your left knee. Take the sole of your left foot to your upper right thigh. Pull your right hip crease back, but continue to press through your right heel and peel your right toes towards your face. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist your heart towards your toes, so it is a twist, and then fold forward. Again, roll the shoulders back, send your heart towards your toes, lots and lots of length. Keep your neck long, the back of your neck. So if you're doing what I just was and you're looking forward, you're kind of jacking the back of your neck, which isn't really nice. So keep it as long as possible. Inhale to come all the way back up. You're going to take the sole of your left foot to the mat and then cross it over top of your right leg. Do your best to really press into the sole of your left foot. Take your left fingertips behind you. Inhale, reach up through the crown of your head and your right fingertips, and on your exhale, twist towards the left. Hook your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Roll your left shoulder back. And do your best to keep your shoulders stacked on top of your hips. Every inhale finds you more length, and every exhale twists you just a little bit deeper. Inhale, come back up through center. You're going to de-rotate, just give it a little twist towards the right, and then unhook your left leg. Press through the heel of your left foot. Take your right sole of your foot to your upper left thigh. Pull your left hip crease back. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, twist your heart towards your toes before folding forward. Roll your shoulders back. Send your heart towards your toes. Use lots and lots of length. Keep the back of your neck long. Keep a lot of articulation in your left foot. You might even pull up on your left kneecap to find more space behind your hamstring. It'll open it up a little bit more. Inhale, come back up through center. Take the sole of your right foot to the mat and then cross it over top of your left thigh. Press the sole of your right foot into the mat. Right fingertips behind you. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist towards the right. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Roll your right shoulder back. Do your best to keep your shoulders stacked on top of your hips. Maybe gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale, de-rotate. Twist all the way to the left. And then let it go. Last little thing, you're going to bring the soles of your feet together, your knees wide apart. We didn't do lots of hip opening today, so it could be quite nice to bring your heels close to your pelvis. Then take your two peace fingers around your big toes. Press through your sit bones, reach up through the crown of your head. And then exhale, fold forward, heart to toes, heart to toes, heart to toes. Eventually hitting this wall where heart to toes doesn't really work anymore. And when you've hit that wall, you can round forward as much as feels nice. Inhale, come all the way back up. Take your hands underneath your knees, close your knees like a book, place the soles of your feet onto the mat, grab a hold of your block, and slowly roll all the way down onto your back. When you get here, you're just going to set up so that you're really pressing the four corners of your feet into the mat with your ankles underneath your knees. You'll bend at your elbows, press the soles of your feet, press the backs of your arms into the mat, and lift your hips high enough that you can place this block either on the lowest or the medium height. I'm going to do lowest, right underneath your sacrum. You can gently lower your hips or the back of your pelvis onto your block and let your arms go. Now your sacrum is this triangular shaped fused bone and vertebrae at the base of your spine. So it's not your lower back and it's not your bum. It's right above your butt crack. There's really no pleasant way of saying it. And then you can stay as you are, or you might like to extend one heel and then the other up towards the sky. Now with the placement of this block where it is, this should feel really weightless and quite nice actually. Keep the back of your head glued onto your mat, as this is a supported version of shoulder stand, and it's really important to protect your neck. Your eyes may come to a close. Allow your breath to soften, or let go of any ujjayi, pranayama, or special yoga breath that you might have been holding on to during this practice. And just let the blood flow in the opposite direction. When you're ready, you'll bend your knees in towards your chest, and then one at a time take the soles of your feet back down onto the mat. Just take a moment in this reclined hip opener, this reclined supported back bend. And then rebend at your elbows, lift your hips just enough that you can take that block off to the side, roll back down, and then take the soles of your feet mat width distance apart, and do some windshield wipers. So your knees will fall from side to side. And then from here, give yourself a squeeze, hug your knees in towards your chest. You might stay still or become a teeny tiny little ball by taking your nose to your knees. If you love Happy Baby, take Happy Baby here by separating your knees and reaching through the insides of your legs to hold onto the outsides of your ankles or your feet. Relaxing your shoulders and your tail back down onto the mat, and pressing your hands into your feet into your hands. And then you're going to float this Happy Baby all the way into the most important pose of our practice, Shavasana. Take your legs out long, collect your shoulders onto your back, tuck your tail towards your heels, and allow your eyes to soften. Find a comfortable place that you can rest for a few moments, and as always, I will let you know when it's time to move on. And if you have the time to stay here a little bit longer, I highly recommend you do so. If it's time to move on, slowly bring your awareness back into the room, back onto your mat, back into your body. And allow this awareness to deepen your breath. For your deepened breath to inspire small movements in your fingers and in your toes. Maybe shaking your head from side to side, or giving yourself a final big stretch by reaching up overhead as you point through your toes. And then bend into one knee, and then the other. Roll over onto your right side. Take a moment to check in here, notice how you're feeling. And then press yourself to a comfortable seat. Keep your head heavy and your eyes soft, maybe choosing to keep your eyes closed. When you found your seat, bring your hands to prayer at heart center, and for a final moment, come back to the intention you set for yourself. Maybe you choose to carry this intention through the rest of your day, through the rest of your week. We end with the word that means the divine light in me bows to the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me again today. I hope you enjoyed this twist and flow. If you have any requests, I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, please comment, like, subscribe, maybe even share this video with your friends. I hope to see you soon. Namaste. Bye.